Loading, and we're recording. All right. What's up, party people? And hello, my friends. It's your girl. Welcome to China and welcome to my channel. And I have a very, very special guest today because you have to see here, we're talking about femininity one-on-one. So I know y'all are probably like, China, what are we talking about today? This is a little bit different, but I want to introduce my special guest here because we're going to go ahead and get into a lot of things, but I want her to say hi first. I have Jaylyn Renee here. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey guys. I'm in China's world.
So, Jaylyn, you have your own platform. You're a YouTuber as well.
Yes,
You're an
yes.
influencer. So we met via IG. I love all of your videos. I was sending
thank
you a
you.
message yesterday about your videos, and a lot of things on my channel. I told you I don't talk about beauty related topics, things about being just like a woman, hygiene, all those different things that we do on a daily basis, but we don't really talk about. I feel like a lot of those things are really routine. So I would love for you to just share with the audience, what you talk about on your channel, share your handles. They'll be in the description, but you can kind of let them get to know you first and then we'll get into it.
Okay. Well, I am Jaylyn Renee. I always tell people that that's kind of like my staple. My YouTube channel, I actually started off my YouTube channel as just a haven for me to be myself, to share myself with the whole world. So my YouTube channel has evolved into a sisterhood. I call my subscribers the J Lux Gang, and it has evolved into a sisterhood of beauty, fashion, self care, all of those things that I feel like embody a woman, and that can help a woman go to her most ultimate, potential. So that's pretty much what my channel is. Like you said, on Instagram, there's another way that I like to express myself. I love color. I'm a
Your Instagram is beautiful. Instagram is beautiful. Definitely, y'all. If you're for new influencers, definitely get some inspiration from her page because definitely it's a way to do these things, and you definitely like for real. It looks beautiful. So definitely check that out.
Thank you.
I love
literally. Yeah. My Instagram is literally my vision board.
Yep.
I got that idea from somebody and I just ran with it, and it's literally my vision board. So yeah, that is a great tip. Y'all hit me up.
Yeah, that's for real. That's really, and that's like something that a lot of people don't talk about because people are like, "How do you do this?" But it is a way. I'm not gonna give away the tips now, but it is a way to do it. People think it's like but once you really hone in on it, you find your different picks, and then everyone can really have that like aesthetic to their IG. So make sure y'all check this out. In other words, I would say that she's all things feminine. So we're gonna talk about femininity today. I want us to start off first, and I want the audience to ask this question as well. What is our personal definition of femininity? Now, the reason we're having this conversation, I'll give a caveat, is because a lot of things come up, and especially in like a lot of like manosphere and a lot of topics of like what a woman should be, how a woman should act. And I feel like a lot of ways it's much different for Black women in specific. I feel like all women should be feminine, but in specific, I feel like Black women, sometimes we kind of hit a wall with it based upon our upbringing and things of that nature. So I wanted us to talk about first, what is our definition of femininity? I'll let you go ahead since you're my guest.
Okay. I actually liked that you said, what is your definition of femininity? Because let's be clear, the dictionary does have one definition, but there's thousands and millions, simply because we're all different people. And even further, my personal definition of femininity is operating in your purpose. So you being who you are, right? We're all different people. All of our DNA is different. And that's significant to me. And I think that is what defines femininity, and it has to be individual. It can't be just one thing, because my purpose is not your purpose, China, and China's purpose isn't the 10th person watching, right? Yeah. So when you reach and understand your being and your purpose, then you will come to your definition of femininity.
I love that. I love that. Oh my goodness, you dropped so many jewels in there. But something that's like interesting is because when I was like, typing up our draft, I'm like, what is really my definition of like femininity? And I never like thought about it. I always thought it would be like, just like, being like a lady or being soft, but I feel like it's like a cookie cutter depiction of just being considered to be girly or wearing silk colors or or liking neutrals or
I call those things surface.
yeah, yes,
Surface things that a lot of people get caught up in and don't really understand the whole purpose or the whole meaning of what it means, femininity as a whole.
exactly.
So I'll get into that later, but
Yeah,
the look, how you smell, and what label you're wearing, that's all surface stuff.
yeah.
So
Yeah, it's much different. We're talking about this later because it's different when you're dealing with people of the opposite gender, when you're dealing in the
yes,
workplace, when you're dealing with just your peers, how you appear to other people. All
yes,
these things are going to still come from the inside. And I will say that through like my journey of my self understanding as I've grown older, as I've become an adult from like a young lady to a real adult woman now, I have seen the difference in myself. And through your self understanding, I feel that's how you can hone in on your femininity as well, is
right,
understanding yourself, being who you are. But it's not going to look like mine's not going to look like yours not going to look like mine, it's not going to look like the next person. Everybody has their own. They can be similar, like obviously we
right.
both like beauty, we both like to smell, we have those things we like, but again, those are surface things that I feel like people we can obviously connect on and we like that are pretty, but really how we feel, on the
Yes.
outside you cannot feel womanly, you cannot feel soft, and a lot of the times it kind of depends on your outer. So
Yeah.
I know I kind of like went over what
No,
but yeah,
you're on it.
but yeah. So we'll start with our last question for ourselves and for the audience before we get into our first topic, which is obviously doesn't only pertain to outer appearance. Do we consider ourselves to be feminine? For me, I consider myself to be feminine, but again, a lot of those things are a lot of surface things, but those things for me make me feel good. Like when I smell good, when I get new like hygiene products, when you get waxed, when you go shaving, when you get new hairstyle, things like that make me feel good. And I feel like those things, that's the type of woman I am, but I am the cookie cutter, kind of like I like the girly stuff on the more girlier side, which I feel is fine. But I also feel like in my relationship and in my relationships with other people, like I don't be like mean mugging or be, the things that people be like, yeah, that, but the reason why I am like that, I don't necessarily feel that that's a feminine thing. I just don't want somebody to be like, bitch, who is you? What the,
Right.
somebody be like, it's been circulating the smile thing and all those things. But it's like, a lot of the times, and again, that's where we're from, we feel like we have to put on a front so no one attacks us. So I also feel like there's a lot of different things and that kind of combats. But once I felt safe in a relationship, once I grew up, once I live, where I feel like I can walk down the street if I want to, take a stroll, then I feel like I can kind of soften and still be myself, but it's still an everyday battle. So I feel like I am feminine, but in a lot of ways I have to still protect myself. I'll put on a baseball cap, I'll put on a hoodie, some sweatpants, and I'm not. I look like a totally different person. So that's kind of my take on it. But what is yours? Do you feel you are?
I feel like I have been feminine like since the sperm hit the egg.
That's been you, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't remember a time where I did not enjoy being a girl. Like
Mm-hmm.
I loved the surface things, right? As a little girl, getting my nails done, getting my hair done,
Mm-hmm.
um, keeping my dress clean, just doing those things that society has placed on women as their role.
Yeah.
I didn't mind cleaning and washing the dishes and stuff because to me, that's what a woman was supposed to do,
So
So
now, hold on real quick. Now, would that be based upon upbringing?
definitely upbringing. My mother embodies femininity. She is a strict Baptist raising
Oh, yeah.
mother. That's our faith, Baptist. I was raised on the Baptist faith.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was raised to be a first lady
To be,
of a pastor.
yep,
Okay.
yep, I understand. Yep.
Yep. So I was surrounded by these strong Black women, beautiful Black women who were the utmost of a woman. I mean, even I'm 30. So even now, I look up to my mother and the women that I was surrounded by in church, just because when they step in the room, they own it. It's
You know,
theirs.
it's
Like,
yeah, it's the difference. Yeah.
oh my gosh,
In
it's
that, yeah.
amazing,
Yeah.
and they taught me so much of just how to take care of myself, how to show up in a room, So just having that, which is something everybody doesn't have. So I'm really, really blessed to have that.
Yeah.
But having that alone has definitely,
Yeah.
definitely influenced me.
Mhm.
As a child growing up, it's influenced me as a mother to a daughter.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's really interesting to like bring up like church and things of like that nature. Like I've grown up like Christian, like in the church, like typical Black families things. But just thinking about like your church appearance, and when you go to church, like you have to come best of best. You
Oh yeah.
come when you're of age and wear makeup. You come, socks down to the lace. You got your
Yep.
shoes. That's something that people take time. They
Oh
say at church they say come as you are, but people come dressing down to the nines. I will say. So
oh
that's
yes.
still something culturally that I feel like we do have, but people wouldn't consider that or think of that. But those things, and the women in the church and the women who are a part of that culture are some of the most feminine women that at least us as Black people, we get as an example that people kind of look over, or like,
Absolutely.
those generation, the elders, our grandparents, great grandparents.
Yeah.
Yeah. And especially now, I feel like it's kind of skipped a generation of, it's really hit or miss. When all that time women embraced being women, I feel like, and now women don't necessarily embrace it. I feel like we can still be strong, but still embrace, who you are and being, a woman as well. So surface things we were talking about. So the first thing I want us to touch on for our audience, we have a little bit of a breakdown for each of our topics. We're going to be kind of talking about how it affects us, how the outer appearance, relationships, different tips and benefits. We're going to kind of go through and take this full circle. So does being feminine only pertain to outer appearance? So you touched on that, but I want you to expand on it, because we feel like it's outer, how we look, the hair, the makeup, but I feel like you can be somebody who wears their hair natural and don't like makeup, still be feminine.
Yes.
So go ahead and touch on that.
So I think all of us have met a woman that is absolutely gorgeous, absolutely drop dead gorgeous, right?
Yep.
And then we've come to find that she actually has low self-esteem. She actually struggles with loving herself and really accepting herself. I think we've all met a woman like that. So that's why it's important to understand that femininity is not just the outer appearance. It's not just those surface things. It's really getting to know yourself and connecting with yourself. You can't depend on the Fenty beauty. You can't depend on the wigs. Yeah. You have to actually embody and have that confidence in yourself, because a lot of people are readers of people. And I'm one of those. I can read somebody by just looking at them.
Yeah.
Immediately, Yeah. So I don't care how good you look. I don't care how good your talk is. I can read when you're struggling with what you're saying or who you are trying to introduce yourself as. You ever met somebody that was phony? Like you just knew they were phony?
Yeah, and that's interesting, like take on it, because I've never thought of it that way. But that's interesting because especially within what we do within the influencing world, connecting with other people, all those things, everything, especially social media in effect, it still is a facade. Some people may say, I hate to use that word. I mean, because social media is literally part of
right.
Not in a negative way. I'm still going to do it. Times have changed, but I feel like in that way, it's still like a depiction that's not necessarily real, based upon, like, it doesn't mean you have to be rich or have a lot of money. You could still feel good. You go to Target and get your little products to make you feel well. It's still a lot of things that you can do, but that's interesting because you can see it when people allude it. You're like, she's so beautiful. Oh my goodness. Wow. Man, I was in the bathroom for 45 minutes trying to pull this together. And they'd be like, I can't, or they have struggles with dating, or they'd be like, girl, if I was you, what do you do? So, it really does have to be how you feel about yourself, and self-esteem and femininity, from what I'm finding with what you're saying, those still go hand in hand. And when you are strong or have high self-esteem, you can still, I mean, shoot, I be reading through people too. So I feel like that's a skill in itself. But also when you have that confidence and you are living in your feminine energy, then like you can kind of assess women around you as well.
Yes.
It's kind of like you got that x-ray.
Yeah, it's like, oh, been there, done that, honey.
Yeah.
Especially with going back to social media, right? Because I went through this phase of trying to live up to this expectation on social media. And I think we all kind of go through that phase where, you see these women with Birkin bags and with all these nice luxury cars. And we have to remember that, one, you can rent a luxury car and post, right? We're contact.
Everyone knows that. People get exposed for that every time you go to a new city. You can get you a little Tesla, don't worry.
Easily, right? We're
Easy.
content creators.
Yeah.
And you can rent a Birkin, you can rent some luxury shoes, you can rent luxury clothes. So
Yes.
trying to uphold to something that's not real is going to mess with your mental, right? Social media is for those happy moments. It's not for those moments where you only got $50 in your bank account, right?
Yeah.
It's not for those moments where you're struggling with something mentally. It's for those moments where everything is perfect. And that's only the things that people see, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly. Yep.
that's why it's important for you to connect with yourself first. Like I always say, that's the first step. You got to know who you are. That you have to know who you are, because if you don't, when you go in a room full of women that are millionaires and that really have it like that, and these are women that don't have social media, right?
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
not displaying their Birkins, they're not displaying their $2 million homes.
They just have it. They seem
just
to say,
have it.
wow, Sarah, I like
Yeah.
that. Interesting.
It's just their lifestyle. They're not facading, they're not faking. It's literally their lifestyle. So when you get in a room with women like that, you're going to automatically feel inferior because you don't know who you are.
Exactly.
Right?
If someone who maybe you're not the millionaire, but you stepping in, you at some type of function,
You know who you are.
Benefit. People appreciate that and just know who you are. But those type of women, especially in high society, people trying to do things of that nature, date up, all those things. It's a whole different world when you really get down to it. Yeah. And it is cookie cutter, some of those things, but being feminine and being, embracing you as a woman, you personally, your own femininity will still always benefit you, I feel, in the long term. No matter how much you want to push back, you can still make good money, be independent, you can do all those things, and still be yourself. And I feel like that's something we still have to kind of combat. But something interesting also that you said before we get to our next topic was the fact that the social medias and renting the shoes, renting the purses, you can rent the cars, all this to put on a facade. I feel like a lot of the times in our urban society as well, with rap culture, all those things that I indulge in as well. I love the IG models, I love all those things, we influence as well online, but I still feel like it's still difficult for the everyday woman to, it's always that comparison as well. Always. And it's always going to be in your face. But I feel like especially within our culture as well, it is that like ultimate pressure, because that is something we withhold. People go get the new Jordans, get you a new Louis belt, rent's not paid. It's a lot of things. It's a lot of things that people will put, ahead for clout. I've watched so many documentaries or things like that, or things that they say influencers not to do. But y'all don't do that. Don't do that. What they say, if you can't buy it 2 or 3 times, don't get it. Or
I want to say 2 things. So first, back to what we were talking about before. Your purpose is your ticket, right? Your purpose is your $1 million. So that's why when you walk into that room with those women and you know who you are, you already know that you have those things. Might not be physically, but somewhere in the biosphere, it's there. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I just want to briefly, because this can go to a whole nother, this can be a whole nother topic.
And we'll come back, y'all. We'll come back.
Right. Our culture suffers so bad from that, the labels, right?
The labels. It's the labels. It's just the labels.
It's disgusting to me how these companies can brainwash us to make us feel like something with their product. that's so interesting to me, you know. And don't get me wrong, your
I love
girl
a good
loves some labels
I love a
now.
good brand though. Don't get me wrong, but yeah.
Right. I ain't got many, but I got a few.
Yeah.
Okay. I got a few on my wish list too.
Yes, of course.
However, I'm not in a rush necessarily
Mhm.
to get it. Um, because I can wear a $5 bag and get the same attention
People where's
as
their bag from?
a
But
$20,000 bag.
that's
You
what I'm
know,
saying. Yes,
yeah,
and it's for
yeah.
you. It's you. You're getting that for you. You look at those things as accomplishments. Whenever what I like to
Right.
do is I like to get purses. I'm a purse person, so like I like purses of my accomplishments and things that I can get for myself. Some people like
Mhm.
shoes. Some people like belts. Some people like scarves. You know, different things like that. But it's still for you. You're not going there getting it. I'm getting this Chanel. I'm gonna get this new Louis belt. You know, this Louis wallet.
Right.
That
I'm gonna
first
kill him with this. I'm gonna
yeah,
kill him.
I'm gonna get you the Balenciaga sock shoes just because it's like those things people just want to flex, and
Yeah.
I find that brands, and we'll stop at this, the brands especially geared towards urban culture as well. They give us the colors. Gucci looks completely different
It's
now.
easy to
Louis
sell it.
Balmain, oh my God, Moschino, all of those things look like urban culture that Black
It
people like to wear. They make it
absolutely
all for us. It's not it don't look like the Gucci suits that people will wear,
right. Because the
grab.
Black community will buy anything with a label on it. And me and my brother had this conversation where
Mhm.
he was talking about how um it could be something broken, and the stores are like, don't damage that out. They're going to buy it because it has a label on
It
it.
still has
You know,
it. Still get it.
it's the industry. They have made themselves multi-generational millionaires, billionaires,
Mhm.
because of our ignorance,
Yep.
because of our low self-esteem, because of our lack of knowledge, right? They have built generational wealth. Um, so we have to get smarter.
Mhm.
We have to get
Exactly.
smarter.
Exactly. You can look good if you're looting confidence. You look good. I think about like high school. Like I had like no money in high school. Like we were struggling, but people are like, "Oh, you got some money." I'm like, we just doing Fashion Nova. We getting stuff on sale. And you can put all types of things together.
Yeah.
Those type of things are attainable. I'm a Fashion Nova girl to the day I die. I'm spending 30, 40, 50, $60. We'll get some nice things. We go out, but at the end of the day, not all those brands that people are promoting are bad. But we all know that it's hey. It's
Exactly.
a product, so we ain't gonna hate, but yeah,
Exactly.
we get it. All right.
Mhm.
So we
Mhm.
went on a little tangent here, but all those things are still helpful because it still makes us have these conversation starters as women and why we act how we act, why we do what we do. So that was for a reason. Okay. So we just talked about, does being feminine pertain to our outer appearance? Now we're going to go ahead and talk about what are some challenges that Black women face when it comes to femininity. So
Oof.
I feel like this list again can be very long. The one thing that I touched on, and then I'll jump it over to you, was the fact that walking down the street, and I've heard this in a lot of different things that I've listened to about like women, Black women, finding your femininity, all those things in like the YouTube women community. But something I found interesting is that Black women, culturally, people say if you grow up in the projects, you grow up in the hood, you grow up in an unsafe area, or it's a high crime, women have to often, you don't have money you have to take the bus, or, we all understand as Black people. I don't have to go on about what it's like to live in our communities in some circumstances. You get it. You got to walk somewhere. You mean mug. You got to watch yourself. I remember my mom was a single mother for 13 years before she married my stepfather. And when we went to the gas station, she's like, watch my back. You watch my back. When you go to the gas station, you watch my back. You make sure no one walks, nothing, nobody walks up. You have to do those things. Someone approaches us, my mom, like, back up. She put bass on, get up, but all those things I've learned to like protect myself because of my circumstance, of not, or if you don't have a man around, which in a lot of times it is, those are those circumstances because I didn't. So we had to protect each other, but also it gives that armor. And I feel like sometimes it takes away our softness as well. Yeah. So that has been my personal experience in it, but I'm going to give it over to you.
Yes. That was, I feel like for Black women, it's damn if you do and damn if you don't.
Real, yeah, yes.
Damn you if you got full lips. Damn you if you got a fat ass. Damn you if you got hips.
It don't matter. Yeah, you gotta come.
You can't have those things as a Black woman.
Nope.
But our counterparts can lay on the table to get them.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
when it comes to family structure, and I'm going to even take it further than what you were sharing with your personal experience.
Mm-hmm.
Every Black person generationally has been affected. Our family structure has been affected. Think of slavery and our Black women being raped, our Black women bearing children of their owners. Think of this society and how there are so many systematic things that withhold a Black man being there in that stage to protect his family or be a part of his family.
They violated. It's violation of Black women, Black men, all exactly. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. They're here for a purpose. Jail, prisons, the overwhelming numbers, the overwhelming biases and sentencings, those are all systematic. Welfare, the ideal that a woman with 5 children and no father in the household can be given just this much money to stay home and not go to college and not work as long as a man is not present. Those are all systematically here in place for Black community.
Exactly. For
in
it's
particular.
To not, they set us up to not be married, to not make these things, to give incentives,
Yes.
Forget it. On top of it, it's just hard to find a good relationship or to find a life partner
in the first place. Right.
Yeah. But on top of that, it's a lot of other things. And a lot of, in a lot of ways, which makes me sad, is because people think that I'm old school in my friend group, or that, I believe in marriage. That's an ideal of mine, to be in love, all those things. But a lot of people also be like, forget it. I don't want it. This is not even a choice, not a circumstance, not things didn't work out, not, typical things that happen in relationships that are fine. People just forget it, but why? You don't have to work, you get them, but still you're not setting any examples for your children. You're not, nothing moving forward. They're going to do the same shit.
Yeah. Don't let the curse continue. Right. So for me, relationship wise, my boyfriend is Haitian. Right. So his background is even deeper, So my ideal of him, is I have to be there to support him mentally, because this world has so many things against him, and I know there's an argument that Black women always have to be the vessel and Black women always have to be the glue that puts everything together, but God gave women an assignment, right? And that's our assignment. Men can't do it without us.
Yes, really. That's true. My life does not matter. Anyway,
they literally no life can't be produced without women. Yeah. So it's a hard pill to swallow, but I feel like when God gives you an assignment, it's your assignment. I'm not saying enable people, but in order for us to get back to our roots and to have that man in the household that is our protector, so we don't have to worry about certain things as women, we have to recognize the systematic, the societal things that are harboring on our Black men. That way we don't have to be the aggressive. We don't have to be that. And don't get it twisted. The women in the Black Panthers back in the day, they was packing. They knew how to shoot a gun. They knew how to protect themselves. And I am not against that. Because, honey, I carries mine.
You have to, but people out there, please, at least keep one in your home, your partner, whoever, that's something that's a whole nother conversation. But you have to still protect yourself. This doesn't underline that people are crazy. So with that being said, a lot of the times it may be funny. That protects you in your feminine life. Just to say, so I spent so many people pull up, but hey girl, how you doing? I smile. I said, I'm well. Where are you going? I'm like, I don't share. I'm just staying safe. I don't tell people where I'm going. They're like, okay, Miss Lady, I understand. Someone's going to respect it more if you are honest and
Yeah.
I don't want people walk up on me like that, man.
Right. Like give me, it's like, and I always I'm always very friendly. I'm a very approachable person. Um but when people cross a boundary, I'm not afraid to tell them,
Yes.
hold on.
Directly. That's who I am too. Cause I'm like, it'd be those people, they be like, you want to come up? You're like, damn, do I just look like somebody just come up and talk to me?
They
like,
overdo it.
yeah. And it's like, okay now. It's like, okay now. Don't get twisted. Where's my purse? Okay.
Right.
Nope.
Because people really are nutsy. Like, really, for real.
I just covered on my channel yesterday National Rape Day, where it was to assault women, and it was circulating, and a couple girls like said that they have like seen people trying to get other people, but that was circulating on Twitter and on social media to come out and essay women. So that's like things that people still have to combat, because it is a lot of people. One idea can put a lot of ideas in a lot of people's heads. But I will say, take my advice before you mean mug. Just try one time to say, listen, I don't like when people come up on me like that. If you just back up, it makes me feel uncomfortable. I'm on my way. Where are you going? I just don't like to share that for safety. I'm all right.
You can smile. When people approach me and speak to me, I always have a smile on my face. So I immediately let them know I'm not offended. I'm not scared of you. I will literally blow your brains out if you make the wrong move.
Please. But that makes you. But I will say though, when you have your protection in your home, in your purse, in your car, you with your man who carries, if you're out, that's what you guys. Everyone has to carry something. Everyone has to carry something to protect yourself. Like figure out what you like, and what's your own speed. Not saying you have to go get you a piece right away. You may start. You may want the taser. It is what it is.
Mace.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I'd rather just, I don't want to stab. I don't want to get close. It's a lot of things, but you kind of have to find something, but you're stupid and naive if you don't carry you something, if you're moving around. If you're in a big city, in New York, Atlanta, people walk around all the time. My dad lives in Georgia. I told you this. So it's like, I'm still familiar with big cities, especially where it's a lot of Black women, it's a lot of men. And sometimes it's another topic of sometimes when men try to step in and help women, the men get hurt. A lot of things, women, you can still utilize who you are to get yourself out of a lot of situations. It may not be fair, but using you as a woman can be sometimes your best weapon as well as having one. But make sure you carry something, because your approach is different. I'll smile at you, but I know I got something. You got something that can protect you, Majority of the times you can probably keep it pushing, but in case, that's something that's very, very important, especially in our community as well. To feel protected, just have something on you. And I know majority of women, more than ways than one, I still feel like are not carrying some type of form of protection.
And that's a problem, because our counterparts definitely are. Our counterparts are. And you have to have something to protect yourself. Now, I want to make this point too, because I think a lot of people judge this point. A Black woman being passionate, a Black woman being firm and standing in what she believes in does not make her less feminine. I think generationally, we just have a sense of strongness that a lot of people, that society tries to make it come across as not being feminine. Don't get it twisted. Things that I'm extremely passionate on, my voice is going to drop down. It's going to get firmer. Because that's a part of my being, right? That's a part of me. So that's just another stage or another point of my femininity, but it's still feminine. You can't say a woman isn't feminine because she's being passionate about what she's speaking about or about what she's saying. Okay, so I wanted to make that point.
And a lot of people are and of other races, and people have no issues. People sit up there and scream and yelling, whatever. Is not just a Black woman thing. Everyone does it. It's people who are passionate as humans, but those things get ostracized, especially for Black women. And if a man is confident in himself, no matter what race, who you are, they don't have an issue with somebody. Don't mean you're masculine, and don't mean you're giving off that energy, but with someone who can tell somebody who knows boundaries. someone
Yeah.
who's direct. Men appreciate those things. You can order a meal. Some guy, some things like, you can ask for something. This is wrong. You don't have to be rude. You can, but those are just skills that we have and that we can utilize as women. They might take it off your tab for free if you're nice and smile. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But those are still the benefits of it as well. All right. Is being feminine essential for a woman? I know we basically said that in so many words, but is it anything that we want to define within that? I'm going to say yes. I think that it's still with age, with time, your femininity changes. I know like that's the next thing, like in my life, marriage, to have children, things of that nature. So I know that my femininity is going to change when I become a mother. I know it's going to be, my different form is going to be different. So I feel like that's something that's always going to be changing. Your feminine may be different. Hell, 10 years from now, I may be super rich and I'm like, I don't want to wear makeup anymore. I don't want to do that.
It will be. It's going to be different.
Yeah. So, but I'm still who I am. My man still appreciates for who I am. So I'm going to say yes. What are your thoughts?
Absolutely. Touching back on when I said, God gave women an assignment, just like he gave men an assignment. Men don't have what we have, and it's all for a reason. It's for a purpose. It's a part of our being. So absolutely. It is imperative for you as a woman to be feminine. Now, it's going to look different from mine. It's going to look different from China's. Everybody's is going to look different.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty straightforward. I'm still with it. I think, everyone can do a lot more research on it, finding your own way, but that's definitely, I feel like, essential. You're God-given, that's who you are. I do want to say something that is interesting. Now, when it comes down to, how you feel on the inside, sexuality, gender, those things, that's when, the conversation, it becomes bigger. So I don't want anybody to take that differently. When you identify as different things, different sexualities, you identify with different gender pronouns, all those things change. So I want to acknowledge that as well. But, for people who identify as cisgender or straight women, or an everyday woman, not to be offensive in any way. That's why I want to give that caveat. This is just something that is beneficial. And it even helps for, a lot of people who are agender or don't identify with a gender. Sometimes you still want to feel girly. Sometimes you feel a little more masculine. It's a lot of things, we don't knock, what other people do, but it's the sides of that, especially when you don't identify with a gender or you're gender fluid, which is something that a lot of people have find because we feel different on the inside, that's still something that you can hone in on as well, which may be a lot more difficult to hone in on your feminine side, or you want to. But there are things that you can do. We're not just going to talk at them today. We're not going to, but there are benefits.
Right.
So let's talk about
I absolutely admire those people. Don't get offended because I said those people. LGBT.
I understand. No, we're talking on the topic. Yeah.
Yeah. I admire them because they are stepping in their being, and rather someone else thinks it's wrong or right outside of that scope, these people are embracing their being, right? And some people die. There's going to be some people that die today, right this second, that did not step in their being. So I just want to add that.
Yeah. And to feel that journey, if you're sitting here like, yo, I don't know. I'm not really identifying with this. I feel a little bit different. That is fine. And people change, sexualities change. And nowadays we have a lot of different labels that are beneficial to a lot of people. A lot of people just consider us to be basic old cisgender women, but some beautiful things that people, that exist. So, for that conversation, that's very true. So for everybody, what we're going to get into next is the benefits of being feminine, and some kind of tips and tricks. Now, I love this. I feel like this is like an everyday thing for you and I, but I would love for you to take the lead on this and give us kind of benefits. And I'm going to let you kind of do your thing, because especially y'all, when you check out her channel that I have in the description, and I am Jaylyn Renee on Instagram as well, you all will see these are some tips. You have videos on your channel as well about personal hygiene, all those things. I am a geek for those. The honey pot changed my life. My boyfriend makes jokes about the honey pot. If y'all don't know what the honey pot is, get on it. It's a lot of natural things you can support in our community. all those things. I won't go on a tangent, but what are the benefits and some good things when it comes with it? Go ahead.
So I would say, okay, so number one, what we've all been talking about this whole time is being able to operate in your being, right? Where
Mm-hmm.
you get to do those things that you would do with or without money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those things you do on a daily basis. Those are your being. So you get to do that with a prize, with a present, right?
Mm-hmm.
To respect. People are going to respect you when you know who you are. They're going to respect you. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to like you, but they will respect you, right? I'm not saying that.
Respect me. It's not a song. I'm trying to think you ain't going to like me. Oh, that's Gossip Girl. Something that you
Yes.
So excellent, Gossip Girl, okay?
Listen, they're going to talk about you behind that door, but when you come through it, they won't have any choice but to respect you. Okay? So that is one of my favorites.
I love that.
Of all, you know, it really is. It really is one of my favorites because growing up, I knew a lot of people did not like me, right? They did not like my confidence.
It's lifelong, though. It's lifelong.
It's what it is. You know, I said what I wanted to say. I was confident. But those girls would never say they didn't like me to my face, right? And another thing is,
only a confident one to say I don't like you.
Listen,
you know, but we know
never,
we don't like
never. I just knew, you know. And another thing that I love about it is you get to be a teacher, but you also get to be a student. Right. So as I journey along in my phases of femininity, like you were saying, your different stages, I was at a different stage when I was 10. Then I'm at a completely different stage now that I'm at 30. Right. But as you move along up the totem pole, you get to be the teacher or you get to be the student. And I feel like as 30 right now, I'm being a teacher. But also when I get around women that are well more established than me and things like that, I'm being a student, you know? So you get that back and forth interaction to help you grow, you know?
And I love that. To piggyback real quick, surrounding yourself with people who you admire. And I feel like something that I've struggled with, and I even texted you about this, like with this like influencing and things of that nature. It's hard to have people to like relate to or within your realm. And when you are so let's say you're not struggling with your confidence, if you are a strong individual, it's a lot harder sometimes to be around people who are genuine or to have someone to look up to or to have someone to place as a mentor. And I feel like a lot of the times it is a struggle for young women as well, because I'm the only person in my friend group who's having a conversation about femininity or who cares about this. Like I've been called domesticated, I've been called all types of stuff because I like a clean house, but I'd be like, I have bad anxiety. So if my house is dirty, you know, it benefits me in those ways. But a lot of the times I also feel like I get shamed for those things. And it was nothing, I don't feel bad about it, but it's also still that shame and people, the everyday woman, I feel like these conversations are not happening for women between the 18 and 25. When I turned 25, I was like, okay. I was like, now I feel like I got to start to get what I need together for the rest of what I want to do with my life. Now I have to really think about where I want to be and what I want to do. But for a lot of the times, these things were not brought up to me, or I didn't have conversations. You talk to your mom about your grandma, but I'm not having peer-to-peer conversations about how to be a better woman, how to hone in on how I feel. We don't talk about feminine products. No. You know, it's a lot of things. So that's why I do obsess over these type of platforms.
That's good.
Because it's interesting to me, and these people open my mind, even though I don't have anybody to talk to about it all the time. But I think the things are interesting, and it makes me kind of appreciate that more. So I just wanted to say that, like, if people do feel alone in this, I understand it is a personal journey, but still, you can still connect and talk with other people about these things as well.
Absolutely. My one thing, that's the reason why I created my Instagram, and that's the reason why I created my YouTube. Because that's my purpose, right? I noticed early on that I influenced people, And I didn't realize, like you said, I didn't have people around me to show me.
People be copying. People be
Yeah.
copying. I'm like, I bet
Yeah.
you the people who started YouTube, let me stop. People be copying. I'm like, oh my God, y'all, you're copying. I did a little pic. I'm like, y'all copying. But I will say that and I'm like, all right.
Yeah, and that's okay.
It makes you feel good. I'm like, all right.
It's okay because they can probably touch a different audience. Because see, my main goal is for everybody to understand it, you know, everybody to get it. But me growing up, it was my life. I didn't know that other people weren't getting what I was getting. You know, I had no idea. I was oblivious. You know, you don't know what a yeast infection is. Oh, that's normal. Women get those all the time.
When I went to college, oh my God, so many poor people to be like, oh my Lord. I went to so many clinic appointments with my girls with just like not knowing. But a lot of the time, those things aren't evolved and kind of, we don't talk about those things. I was definitely afraid, even though, sorry, Mom, I was so afraid to talk to her about sex, about a lot of things.
Yeah.
You know, still growing up in the church, growing up, you're saving yourself, all those things, you know, it is still a give and it's still a give and take. I still consider myself a Christian to this day. I'm always love Jesus. You love who you love. But, you know, some of those things as well. But when you do see Mandy, Nicole, and Sally, their moms were, you know, talking to them about those things, which I feel like are sometimes beneficial. And I want to say that I don't always feel like it does mean that you're going to go do those things. You know, it was like a choice. In high school, I didn't do anything with boys in high school because I didn't want nobody talking about me. I don't want this to go around. I don't want these things. So like women have their own personal journeys as well within that. But I do want to say that is still kind of, it's harder to talk about femininity when it comes down to your personal bits as well. And women don't want to talk about it too because
there's so many stigmas on things that are normal with women because people don't understand them. And I go back to yeast infection. You can get a yeast infection for sitting the wrong way. You know, that's how sensitive our bodies are. And so many of our younger girls don't know that. They don't know how to properly take care of themselves. They don't know how to manage themselves when it's that time of the month. They don't know how to do these things. And that's why my channel, although it is for women, you know, my age and things like that, when I make a video, I tell them, share this with your nieces, share this, get this out there because
I think it's even for the people who's not in our age. If you're past between 25 and 30, I would hope you would know how to mess with the yoni and get it right, but that's not be taken for granted.
No.
The biggest videos people do on YouTube are the hygiene videos. And to me, I'm like, okay, that's interesting. I look for new products. I don't look at how to wash it, how to, you know, what you need to do with it.
Yes.
But that is something that people do take for granted and men will bag on you for it.
Oh, yeah. And they don't understand that
they don't get
most of the time, men are the number one factors of throwing that thing off. Okay. So
exactly. Partners, all this, and people don't understand. You can have nothing going on. One day you meet somebody new, because your balances, your insides, they don't have all those things, you know?
So education to me, like being able to be that teacher, to me is everything right now. I'm absolutely enjoying it. I'm not going to stop because I know that it's going to continue to grow, you know, and I meet women and they have teenage daughters and I'm like, she needs to be on my channel. Put her on my channel because sometimes you need to hear it from somebody you don't know. Sometimes you just, it's weird to hear it from mom. You know, it's just odd to hear it from mom. But if I hear it from this woman I've never met in my life, she's got to be telling the truth. Why
and things progress and change. We'd be lying if we said things did not change. It just women's bodies have always been the same, but it's new products, it's new things that you shouldn't be using. They say don't use the baby powder. You're supposed to use the one with the cornstarch. Just little things like that. People are probably like, huh? You know, a lot of other things that, you know, you can learn. You talk about a lot of different products. You talk about, you give step-by-steps. You even walk people through your routines. And people like to watch those things. That's what I'm saying, y'all, make sure I got it at the bottom. I love watching people's different routines. If I see, like, oh, you washed her hair this way, or she got this thing in the shower. Like I seen this girl had eucalyptus coming out of her shower. I was like, this is cool. You know, it's a lot of things that make you feel good, but those different things of like the basics of smelling good, taking care of yourself, having good hygiene, having good breath. getting teeth or different things like that. Making
Yes.
sure if you're going to shave, then get rid of the bumps. If your guy likes something down there, have those conversations. But being upfront and being honest in those things, especially like when people start to date, men are going to be honest with you. If I wake up in the morning and I try to kiss my boyfriend, something, he'll be like, your breath smells. I'm like, I'm sorry, I just love you. We're people.
They
but
should
if
be.
you just met somebody, just kind of
make sure you're ready. Make sure you're right.
Make sure you're good. I understand a good hoe bath here and there, but don't try and do that all the time because he's gonna be talking about you. But that's the truth. That's the truth. I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I don't even know.
No, you're fine. Just self-care.
Yes. Yes.
Self-care. When you take care of yourself, you can't take care of nobody else until you take care of yourself. The people in my household know when I say it's my self-care day, they know to bring me wine and leave me alone.
Just chill.
When it's maintenance days, I start early in the morning. I have my appointments down. Invest in yourself. Yes. Forget that Birkin bag. Forget that YSL bag. If your breath ain't right,
you can. Oh my God, you can do so much cool stuff. Like,
oh my goodness,
invest in new cool stuff. Yeah.
If you're not maintaining your lady parts, your everything, if you're not investing in your mental health, if you're not taking time to just do nothing, to just breathe, to journal, to write your thoughts down, that's all self-care. That's all self-care, baby girl. And if you don't focus and do that, you can't help nobody else. You're gonna be stuck. You're gonna be sad. You're gonna be miserable. You're gonna fall into depression. I'm telling you, taking care of yourself, taking a bath and a shower is everything to me. It's everything to me.
So candles, like all those, that's like different investments to make you feel good. We don't have the purse, but majority of people, we starting to go back outside. But if you have a good bath, you have some good candles, you got a nice bathroom, you got some crystals, you got some sage running. I'm saying that's some aesthetic girls will be like, oh, what's she doing? What her bath routine? You got you some good candles, you go to Bath and Body Works, you can get a lot of things to make you feel good. Go to TJ Maxx, do a haul, you can get all types of stuff for your house. I'm a person that, like, since we, especially now, like I used to work from home, doing YouTube from home, doing a lot of things from home if we're not going out and creating content, and a lot of people are still at home. You have to make your home a haven of peace, have things that you like. I spend money on different things that I used to spend money on. I probably would have spent $500-$600 on outfits by now getting ready, for May and the summer seasons. I'm kind of slow rolling because here I'm like, we trying to see what's going on. But you spend your money in different ways to still benefit you, but it don't always have to be about the Birkin bag and all of that stuff.
Luxury,
what you like.
Luxury is taking care of yourself. Being able to take care of yourself is luxury, right? Being able to go in Target and afford 4 candles, that's luxury.
That's what I'm saying.
Whenever, don't put yourself in a box. Like, don't put yourself in a box where luxury is just a label. Okay. Be luxury. Tell yourself you're luxury.
You'll attract
so
luxury.
Many ways.
You'll attract some luxury. Hey, somebody help you get your Birkin. Hey, people never know you just living in yourself and being who you are.
Yes.
Spraying on, investing in a good perfume or a scent that you
so important.
Like, she always smells like this.
My favorite thing in the world is for people to tell me you smell good. They walk by me, you smell good. What are you wearing? You smell so good. And
this reminds me of Jaylyn. This is oh my goodness.
It's a whole thing. But when you get that level and when you start to get those type of compliments, trust me, it's fulfilling. And when you start to take care of yourself, that's feminine energy. You are introducing higher and higher levels of feminine energies into yourself. Another thing that I do is in the morning, I listen to Black woman affirmation. I just type Black woman affirmation in YouTube and just let it play. That's reaching certain frequencies, certain levels of
subconsciously. You can be dishes, preparing your kids ready for school, doing a lot of things, meditating, thinking, make that a part, start your day. I used to do like music at one point because I do meditations before and before bed in the morning. I'm one of those people as well. YouTube, headphones, playing on the speaker, just listening to those because subconscious things or putting things into perspective for like affirmations, especially, those things will happen if you subconsciously put those within you. And if you have any type of faith, you know, those things will intertwine together and are very, very beneficial.
Yep, absolutely. 100%.
100%. So, we're dropping so many gems. Okay.
I know.
So I think as we're coming towards the end of our broadcast, y'all, I know we were about to make it for like an even hour, I think. It's some things that we wanted to talk about of just like little bonus things. I know we touched on a couple. We talked about maintenance and self-care, but I do want to talk about clothing tips and finding your personal aesthetic. And I know that's something that you had on our notes for us to touch on. Finding your style, your aesthetic, those are like two different things, but they kind of intertwine. So I would love for you to kind of hone in on that for someone who's trying to find a new style, be more feminine, how they get like a salad to stay dressing,
So for me, I say the most important tip is to figure out what your body shape is. Not what your body shape was 10 years ago, not what it was last year.
Don't have the denial, just wait and understand.
Figure out what it is now and start looking for those pieces that will flatter your body type, right? And now even further than that, go through your clothes.
Okay.
Things that you have not worn, that you are holding on to, that you're hoarding, get rid of them. Things that don't no longer serve you, get rid of them. If they remind you of an ex, if they remind you of a place where you were miserable and you're depressed, get rid of it. If it's just not who you want to be represented as anymore, get rid of it, right? About 5 years ago, I got rid of all my college club dresses because they no longer serve me.
Dress with them. Yeah.
So, once you figure out your body type, clean out your closet, right? Select a color palette. Now, usually for my style, right? For my evolving style, because I actually redid my wardrobe starting this year.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
I do have videos on my channel of that. And I wanted softer, more neutrals. I love colors, guys. So I had lime greens.
That's me. I want to become neutral, bro. You see me like out here, like I know, like
it was hard. It was so hard.
Yeah.
But what I learned is to make it more softer and to make it more mature because I am 30 now, right? So I wanted my clothing to be more mature. I wanted a statement. I wanted statement pieces, bold pieces. So I figured I didn't have to get rid of my color. I just needed to soften up my color, right? So, for example, instead of getting a true purple, I needed to get a lilac. Instead of getting a hot pink, I needed to get a pale pink. Things like that to lighten things up, make them more airy and make them a little bit more approachable. Because I'm not 20 anymore, right?
The attention is different. You attract different types of attention.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because a statement piece, you can have a beautiful. I remember I had one of my favorite blouses was just like a deep like maroon color, but the sleeve on it was crazy. It had like a nice V-neck, and I got so many compliments on that top that I took my headshots in it. I was like, oh my God, this is like amazing. But it wasn't like my favorite hot pink color. It was like just a neutral, deeper color, but it was a statement, and people appreciate that. People still love a good outfit. It's not always about showing your thing and all that. Even though those things are nice, I do like to dress like that, but also I love a good piece that it's just like a good dress, a good Calvin Klein, something that's like, yes.
Sorry.
Oh no, you're fine.
Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, totally. And the most important part is making sure that it fits you. Making sure that it fits you properly. If you got a little bit of stomach, sis, I get it. I've had 2 children. I have a pudge myself. Some days it comes all the way out like I'm pregnant again. Some days it's flat. Get you some shapewear. Invest in
I love good shapewear. Let me say, all the girl, if you really want to look like somebody in Hollywood, all of the girls wear shapewear.
Every single one of
People,
them.
People talk about Kim
Don't
Kardashian.
be
She
fooled.
makes scams. She make it to suck you in even more. People wear it who don't even have a little bit of belly. I love
Please.
shapewear. I wear
Yes.
shapewear. Having a flat stomach for me, as I'm in between with my weight, I
Mm-hmm.
love shapewear. It's no
Yeah.
shame in it. It pushes you up.
No.
It fills you in. It's nothing
Yep.
wrong. It's what makes you feel good. You know, when you got
Absolutely.
your man, he'll understand whatever. But to the outer appearance, you get you one, you feel good. It's about what
Yep.
makes you feel good.
And those clothes are gonna fit you right.
Better.
The women in London, I always use them as an example because you talking about some dressers. Those
Mhm.
women are
The
dressers. They take
style
their
is different.
dresses seriously. Their
Mhm.
clothes are tailored to fit them.
Mhm.
I can go get a pair of jeans and a top from Forever 21 right now,
Mhm.
and I can take it to a tailor and she can tailor it up to fit my body perfectly, and
Mhm.
I will look like I have designer on. So
Yep.
the way things lay, the way things fit on you is so important.
Small
And
investment.
yep, and the
Small.
better it lays on you and the better it fits on you, the more feminine you're gonna look. No
Mhm.
matter if it's a V cut all the way down here, you can still be sexy. Make sure it's a statement piece though, or
Mhm.
make sure you pair it with the statement piece. Because I
Mhm.
have plenty of bodysuits that have the low V.
Mhm.
I'll pair it with the fedora. I'll
Mhm.
pair it with a nice bag. I'll pair it with some bomb shoes. You
Mhm.
gotta know what to match what with. But
Mhm.
the number one thing is knowing the type of body shape you have and getting clothes that fit and that work for your body shape.
Mm. I love that. I absolutely love that. I agree 100%. Finding what you like, and that's a part of you. So you're not dressing like somebody else.
Yep.
You're finding your own aesthetic and paying attention to your size. When you,
Yes.
oh my gosh, I remember when like quarantine hit, I gained weight. I had to get new clothes, but I felt better. I wasn't like,
Yeah.
okay, like, it is what it is. While you're on your journey, different things that make you feel better. And we're women,
Absolutely.
but trust me, they have a lot of go on Pinterest, look at Black women, go on
Yes.
Jaylyn's
Make
page.
you a vision
Anytime,
board.
anytime you
Mm-hmm.
look at the girls you want to look like, look at what they got in their
Yep.
aesthetic and in their different things. It may be Fendi down, but they got the little Fendi bag, they got the belt, they got,
Yep.
you can
Yep.
still make
and,
everything
and if
your
you want it's so, like you said, it's so many different styles: bohemian, the bossy type of corporate wearing suits type
mm-hmm,
of style. It's
mm-hmm,
the flowery floral girl. It's
mm-hmm.
so many different types of styles. Make you a vision board. Make
Yeah.
you a vision board for where you feel. Even if you feel like you're kind of gothic and you like black, there's a
Mm-hmm.
way to do it that's still feminine. There's a way to do
Oh
these
yeah, it's a
things.
lot of women who do the if you like just the dark colors, if you
Yes,
oh my goodness, that's some of
yes,
the most that screams sex appeal. Those things are to go into your femininity and those you
yes.
being and living within your truth. It really doesn't matter, girl. You can have on a cute sweatsuit and people
Yep,
still look at your face. It is who you is. It is you are who you are. So that's
yep.
really what I go. People gonna always judge and have opinions, but I bet your result will be much better if
Oh,
you just really
always.
look in and you feel better. So
Yes.
we're we going on. We're over an hour. We're gonna takeaways, y'all. I know this is a long broadcast, but final thoughts. I just want to say overall, I appreciate this conversation. I think that everything we talked about was so straightforward that I'm not gonna go back and do the takeaways I'm in front. That's something that I will say as a takeaway that I took from what you said was the tailoring of the clothes. I need to start doing that. I have a huge butt in my waist. It'd be in the back. It'd be all over the place. I'm
Yes.
like, I want to start to tailor my pants. I've always been like a skirt wearer because like I hate the jeans and stuff, and it kind of like it messes with my body. But I'm like, I'm gonna start to get my clothes tailored. And I like
Yes.
the idea of if you even get something, I know tailoring is not super expensive, or even if it is a little, 20-30 bucks at the most, if you spend $20 on a Q top at Forever 21, or you're trying to have
Hmm.
something fit a little bit different, then that's okay. That
Right.
it's different. But when you do shop at other brands, um, depending on what city you're in, like Zara, for example,
Oh, yeah.
love Zara. A little bit more expensive, but you don't have to really worry about their sizes are nice. They have good prices as
Hmm.
well, but you don't have to worry about your fit.
Yes.
I like went to school in Chicago, so they have them in like big cities. I know you shop at Zara, love
Oh,
things like
yes.
that, but that really screams like a nice place to kind of find different colors and different things. So just finding
Different collections. They have You said with the jeans, and
Mhm.
I've been repping this collection that Zara has, Limitless.
Wow.
Curvy girls need to try Limitless jeans.
You can order online too, those other places, yeah.
Oh my
Mhm.
gosh, they're absolutely amazing. They hug your curves. It's really about doing your research. It,
Yeah.
it, it really is. If you want it, you got to work
It's
for it.
there. It's there.
Yep,
It's
yep.
literally there. And the nice thing about what we do is content creation. We really walk you through it. We'll show you. We show you a little tips
Yes.
sometimes, so you sometimes you can just sit and watch it, relax, and let us do the talking. So I wanted to say for my final takeaway, Jaylyn, I appreciate you. I'm so,
Oh,
so
thank you for
even more
having me.
happier that we had this conversation. I appreciate you so much in getting to know you over this time, y'all. We've been trying to make this happen. We've been getting it. It's hard. Everybody say when you got to do a shoot with multiple, it's hard to get
Oh,
everything together. But I'm
yes,
happy that we had this conversation. I think that it's very much so well needed. And for
yes.
me, I think for me, for fun, I'm going to do me like a little femininity update. I feel like I do want to start in the summer. I want to start to get new clothes. I think I'm going to change up my like aesthetic and things like that and play around. But for me, it's fun. So I want to say that those are things that I love about your page and your channel as well. So much love to you. I want to hear
Thank
your
you for
takeaways.
having me.
No, of course. Yeah.
I just loved having the conversation. I think it's not being had enough.
Hmm.
And I think when it is had, it's only focusing on those surface things. So it
Yeah.
feels good to finally speak on a deeper and more intellectual level about it. Um, this is an absolutely great opportunity. I am going to be starting a series on femininity,
Love.
where I break it down and go even further because people have been asking me, and
Love.
it's
Mhm.
just a matter of timing and getting it right. You don't want to put
Yes.
the wrong information out there. So
Yeah.
thank you, China, for thinking of this and inviting me. I
Mhm.
appreciate it so much.
Of course, of course. So I'm glad, y'all. And people, don't be afraid to connect with people who you admire,
Yes.
like people's profiles, all those type of things. Like especially like within influencing, like or just like even online. Like hey girl, where you get that from? Or just
Mm-hmm.
being friendly and just kind of getting out that box. Like I have terrible anxiety. I don't necessarily have social anxiety, but for me to like get off the horse and do things like that is sometimes hard. So
Yeah.
people just have to really kind of step outside of your comfort zone and make
Yeah.
sure you all are doing your research, finding people who serve you in your femininity. It's a lot of people online to talk about a lot of BS, so just
Ugh.
don't put everybody in your if you disagree with something somebody says, that's fine. It's somebody else who's going to talk about it. It's something else you can read on it. So just don't settle, because people will start to put different thoughts in your minds. I'm just saying.
Yep.
So
Yep. Yep. And,
make sure you
and
guys start. Yeah.
and anybody that has any questions, anything, hit me up on any of my social
Yep,
medias,
I got it
any
right.
of my platforms.
Yep.
I'm like the most open person ever. Just make
Yes.
sure you are respectful, but please, any questions you have, especially when it comes to taking care of yourself, please ask those questions.
Make sure y'all check those questions. Check those. I can't even talk anymore. Y'all make sure y'all send her those questions. I have her socials in the description going across the screen here as well. We're going to definitely have her on again, y'all. Let me know how you guys feel about this content. On my way to 900 subscribers.
Yes, we're going to get you there.
Such an honor to have you here. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. So, y'all, this
You're
just makes me
welcome.
very, very happy. And I hope everyone has a wonderful and blessed Sunday.
Yes.
Love the people who are around you. Hold those who love you the most, and diss those who don't care about you. And don't live with those type of people. Get that out. So I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, we're gonna